It's story time with Roshene Pierrie. Today, the name of our story is Just in Time for Christmas, written by Roshene Pierrie. Nina had lost all hope of getting a breakthrough. She had been sick for many years. The pain had become her daily meal. Some days she felt like she had had enough. Her belly was full. Her cup was running over. Some days she would just lie in bed, watching and counting the minutes and the hours, praying and hoping that this pain would leave her body, her mind, and her soul. Nothing could ease the pain that she felt. She had cried her last tears years ago. The only reason she got out of bed sometimes was to tend to the flowers in her garden. Those gave her a glimpse of hope. They kept her occupied, and yet there was still that emptiness and pain that seeped deep within her soul. She gave up on any form of human interactions. She had cut herself off from her family and friends. She had stopped taking their calls, their messages, their letters. She rejected them all. She felt alone in the world, and that's just how she liked it. Nothing seemed to matter anymore. The house that she was living in was in a deplorable condition: leaking roof, broken windows, and tainted walls. Even the furniture was dusty and old. Nothing really mattered to her anymore. One morning, as she lay in bed, she heard strange noises coming from the back of the yard. At first, she ignored the sounds, but then they became louder and it continued for a long time. When she could not take the noise anymore, she got out of bed, put on her shoes, and went to the back of the yard. When she got to the back of the yard, she was utterly surprised. It was the strangest thing she had ever seen. A German Shepherd dog with 3 legs, covered in what seemed to be red and black paint. It was whimpering in pain. Nina became very annoyed. Nina tried everything in her power to get the dog to move, but it simply just lay there, whimpering in pain and anguish. "Get out of here, you silly dog! You're trespassing on private land." But the dog just simply lay there, whimpering in pain. Nina walked back and forth, trying to rack her brain as to what to do with this dog. Then she decided maybe, just maybe, she should help him. "How can I help such a dog? What am I to do? After all, I'm not a vet. Where are your owners, you silly dog? How did you get here?" As she tried to put some things to get the dog to move. "Oh, shut it, you dog. I did not invite you here, so why the noise?" Nina was becoming even more annoyed as the dog whimpers became louder. All right. I'll help you as long as you stop that noise," Nina shouted. Nina then got a pan of water, soap, and a rag. She was going to give this dog a good washing. Nina was a little bit scared to touch the dog, so she approached him very carefully. As she got closer to the dog, he started to bark at her. "Oh, how am I to help you if you continue to barking like that?" The dog stopped barking. Then Nina got down and started to wash away the paint that was on the dog. Nina continued to wash away the paint. It was a hard task to do, and Nina grumbled as she did it. Why does this dog come to my place? Look how the place is big, and he has to come to my house. Ah, boy, the trouble I get for trying to be alone. She continued for about an hour until all the paint was gone. Then she was able to see the wound much more clearer. It seems as if something or someone had damaged the side of this dog. The wound was very deep. Nina tried to lift the dog, but he was very heavy. She then got a wheelbarrow and put him in and wheeled him into the house. Outside was getting really cold. Once inside, Nina cleaned the wound. The dog cried. Never mind, you silly dog. It will all be all right. Never mind. I wonder where your owners are. After cleaning the wound, Nina got the dog something to eat. It was getting very late, and so Nina closed all the doors and windows. She then went to bed. In the morning, Nina got up really early to check on the dog. He was much calmer, and the wound looked a lot better than it did the night before. What am I going to do with you, you silly dog? Where did you come from? How comes you only have 3 legs? Where's your other leg, you dog? Now what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Nina got really flustered. It has been a very long time since she had any form of company or contact with anyone or anything. What am I going to do? All right, Nina, calm yourself. All right, dog, what are we going to do? First, let's get you something to eat. Then we'll think about what to do next. Nina then went to the fridge and realized that there was basically nothing in there to eat. What will she do next? She hated going into town. It was the hardest thing to do, but the dog needed food if he was going to survive. She started to walk back and forth. What am I to do? She then decided, all right, I have to go to town. Maybe your owners are looking for you there. Nina then got to the front door. It was the hardest thing to do, go outside and get in contact with the real world. But this dog was depending on her. Someone was depending on her for the first time in a very long while. As she opened the door, she took a deep breath. All right, we can do this. Dog, I'll be back. She hurriedly walked to town. When she got to the grocery store, she went to the manager and asked if anyone was looking for a dog. No one was looking for any kind of dog. Oh my, she said to herself. All right, let's get something to eat and get back to that silly dog. She moved quickly around the store, gathered the food, paid for it, and out the door she went. The less time she spent, the less time she would see someone she knows. As Nina hurriedly walked out of town, she saw Sally, the town's friendly neighborhood gossiper. Maybe she had some idea whose dog it was. Nina took a deep breath and called out, Sally, one moment, please. Sally stopped right in her step. She was surprised to hear Nina calling to her. She hurriedly walked to her. Nina, it's so good to see you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. What are you doing in town? Are you here to do Christmas shopping? Are you getting the Christmas tree this year? Are you going to be buying some decorations? Are you be coming to the Christmas party? Sally, just a question. Has anybody been asking for a dog maybe? Dog? What are you talking about? Are you thinking about getting a dog? No, just asking. No, never mind. So Nina, tell me, how has it been? What have you been? Sally, listen, I have to go. I'm in a hurry. Okay, bye. Nina walked as fast as she could. She just wanted to get away from the town's gossip. As she walked up the road, she continued to think, where did this silly dog come from? If the town gossip doesn't know about the dog, then maybe the dog is not from around here. By the time Nina got home, the dog was fast asleep. "Poor thing," she said. "You must be so hungry." Nina went to the kitchen and prepared something for the dog. By the time she was finished, he was awake. Nina looked at him. "You poor silly dog. What trouble did you really get yourself into? Have something to eat." The dog quickly gobbled down the food. He was done in a jiffy. Nina then went about her daily chore, lying in bed. Nina, however, could not get any sleep as the dog constantly made funny noises. Such a noisy animal. Why do you have to be making so much noise? Do you hear me making any noise and I'm still in pain? Be quiet, you mutt. All right, I'm getting up. Nina got back out of bed and she went over to the dog. She got a chair and sat beside him. "What do you expect me to do, sit beside you the whole day?" What have I gotten myself into?" Nina sat beside the dog and started to rub his head. There you go. Now does that feel better? You silly dog." Nina continued to rub the dog's head until he fell fast asleep. "What am I going to do? Where did this dog come from? This dog is causing a rupture in my life." Nina got up and went into the garden. She wanted to clear her head. What was her next move? While tending to her flowers, her thoughts drift back to Sally, the town's gossip. All the talk about Christmas. Nina had not realized that Christmas was right around the corner. She had lost interest in Christmas so many years ago. She can't even recall the last Christmas dinner that she had. All those were of distant memory. For the past few years, she spent this time alone, locked away from the rest of the world. The pain was her best friend, her family, her all in all. Ever since she lost her husband and child in a terrible car accident, Nina had slipped into a deep, dark world. The pain was more than anything she could bear. And for the icing on the cake, her health was deteriorating. The cancer had gotten worse. She was diagnosed with breast cancer 1 year after the death of her husband and child. Wasn't this too much for one person to bear? Nina was angry. She was angry at the world and she was angry at God. Nina shook herself. She did not want to go back down that road, that lonely, dark road where everything was taken away from her. As she was about to snap out of it, she heard the door being opened. It was that silly dog, passing his urine on her favorite flowers. "Hey dog, stop doing that!" she yelled. The silly dog just shook off himself and scampered back inside. To Nina's annoyance, she got out of the garden and went inside and yelled at the dog. "What do you think you're doing? Do you think this is your place?" The dog simply lay down and whimpered in pain. Nina simply shook her head. "I hope your owner come for you sooner than later because I can't take this foolishness." Nina washed her hands and stormed off to bed. She was tired of talking with this dog. Days passed and not a word. No one came to claim the dog. No one came around asking if they had seen a three-legged dog. Nina was starting to worry. "What am I going to do with you, silly dog? Don't you have a name or something?" I'm going to call you Silly Three-Legged Dog, because that's what you are, a silly three-legged dog." The dog just simply stared at her. Nina went outside to see if she could find something to help this silly dog get around much better. By the time evening came, Nina had made something to help the dog get around more easily, but he was still clumsy. bumping into things and turning over boxes all over the place. This annoyed Nina. He even bumped over a box with all her old family photos. This got her very angry. As she cleared up the mess, she saw an old family photo, her last Christmas with her family. How they looked so happy. The smile on her husband's face and the smile on her little girl's face. Those were the best days of her life. How she wished she could get them back. She sat for an hour staring at the photo. All the memories came flooding back. The last Christmas she spent with her family, they went on a family vacation and had the best time ever. Christmas was her husband's favorite holiday. He enjoyed the lights, the decorations, and best of all, the Christmas carols. His favorite was Mary Did You Know? Even though he was not the best singer, he would belch out a tune every time he heard it played on the radio. Oh, how she missed those days. Thinking about her husband, she felt very calm. What is this dog doing? After dinner, Nina went straight to bed, and to her surprise, the silly three-legged dog crawled into bed with her. She was about to throw him out, then she decided to change her mind. Maybe the poor dog is lonely. This had a strange feeling, a feeling that Nina had never felt in a very long time. When morning came, Nina was awakened by the dog's cold tongue on her face. Ah! What are you doing, you silly three-legged dog? Get your nasty mouth off me. This did not stop the dog from using his tongue to lick her face. Ew! You are such a nasty dog. Get off my bed, you nasty dog. Off, 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 now! Your owners better come for you soon, because I am getting really, really annoyed of you. Nina got out of bed and went about her daily chores, going into her garden. And the dog was right behind her, pulling his little wheel behind him. At lunch, Nina realized that the fridge was again empty, and this made her sad, because this means that she had to make another trip into town. You silly dog, this is all your fault. If you had not shown up on my doorstep, I would still have enough food to keep me until next year. Now I'll have to make that long trek into town. Early the next morning, Nina got out of bed. She wanted to make it to town before the midday sun. Now listen to me, you silly dog. Don't mess up my house. I'll be back soon. The dog went to the doorway and saw her off. He sat at the doorstep until she got back. Once in town, Nina went straight to the supermarket to avoid anyone she knew. She quickly collected all the groceries on her list. At the cashier, the last person in the world that she wanted to see was in the line. Sally, the town's gossip. Nina, darling, it's so good to see you. Merry Christmas again. You're doing your Christmas shopping, I see. No. Well, anyways, are you coming to the Christmas party tomorrow? I heard it's going to be the best party ever, girl. And plus, you have to come. I heard it's going to be sorrel, cake, wine, and the best ham in the world. As I told you before, Sally, I am very busy. Oh, come on, Nina. Busy doing what? All you do is stay cooped up in that house all day long. You need to get out. Since David died, all you do is stay in that house. On hearing this, Nina was upset. She didn't even answer Sally. She just walked away. After calming down, she returned to the cashier, paid for her goods, and left the supermarket. On her way back home, she saw Pastor Sam. Hello, Miss Nina. How are you doing today? Very well, Pastor. It's good to see you. You too. We miss you at church these days. So it goes, Pastor. So it goes. All right, then. Anyways, take care of yourself, and I hope you have a good Christmas, and that God will grant you your wish for this Christmas. He'll give you the peace that you seek. Thank you so much, Pastor. Have a nice day. Now I have to go. Bye. Nina hurried along, just in case she sees anyone else she knew. When she got home, the silly three-legged dog was sitting on the steps, waiting for her arrival. Once he saw her, he started to wag his tail. "Why on earth are you wagging your tail? Did you really miss me, you silly three-legged dog?" Nina said. "I got something special for you at the supermarket. Here you go, a nice doggy treat." The dog was very happy. He wagged his tail even more. For the rest of the evening, Nina sat in silence, thinking about her family and all that she had lost. And there was a three-legged dog right beside her with his head in her lap, giving her a comfort that she never knew she wanted. It was 3 days before Christmas, and Nina started to feel nostalgic. It was as if she could smell the sweet aroma of Christmas cake baking and eggnog brewing on the fire. Oh, how she missed those days. But there was no one else to care for these days, no one else to show love, no one to show her love. At that thought, the three-legged dog barked and came and rubbed up against her. Oh, he seemed to have fallen deeply in love with Nina. "You are such a silly three-legged dog for sure. Get off me." He had become her best friend and companion. She didn't feel so lonely as she did a few days ago. At nights, he would find himself right in her bed. And in the days, he would be right behind Nina everywhere she goes. He was her new tail. One day before Christmas, and Nina decided to bake a cake. Why on earth am I baking a cake? Who am I going to share it with? And there was the bark from the three-legged dog. "Ruff, ruff, ruff! All right, doggy, I'll share my cake with you." Nina busied herself in the kitchen. This felt great. She had never felt this feeling in such a long time. What was happening to her? What had caused this great turnaround? While waiting for the cake to be finished, Nina sat in the kitchen, looking at some old photos and telling the dog all about her family. How it felt so good to talk about them, and the dog just sat and listened to her intently. "Are you for real, Mr. Three-Legged Dog? You're such a silly dog for sure. Do you understand anything I'm saying? I am sure you don't." And at that thought, a knock came on the door. "I'm coming, hold your horses," Nina shouted. When she got to the door, it was Officer Rose. "Officer, what are you doing here?" "Good day, Miss Pierrie. How are you today?" "I'm doing fine, officer. How may I help you?" Can I come in and have a word?" "All right then, sure. Come in. Yes, Miss Pierrie. There was an incident up at the Pearsons' farm. Have you heard about it?" No, what happened?" "Well, it seems as if there was a robbery, and the Pearsons got hurt." "Really? I didn't hear anything. I am so sorry to hear." "Yes, that's all right. So we're just coming around to check up on you to see if everything is okay." Yes, I'm fine, officer." At that thought, the dog came in the room. "Where did you get that dog, Miss Pierrie?" I found him at the back of my house the other day." That's the Pearson's dog." "Really?" "I've been trying to find out whose dog it is. Nobody knew about him." They seem as if they had kept him a secret at the house. But he's in their family portrait." How sad. So has anybody survived?" "Well, Mr. and Mrs. Pearson, they both died in the attack. So this dog has no owner at the moment." "How sad. I am so sorry to hear. Their family must be so upset at the moment." Yes, they are. And we are looking for the perpetrator, so you continue to be careful." It seems as if the dog got hurt because when I found him, he had a very big wound." Maybe he had gotten a bite off of those criminals." Maybe. All right then, Miss Pearlie, you take care now and you be safe. And if you see anything, let us know. All right, here is my number. Call me if anything. All right, officer, I will do so. All right, take care now. Bye. Oh my, that's really sad. What happened to the Pearsons? Oh, I'm so sorry I called you a silly dog. You have been through so much. I am so sorry. At that moment, the dog started to bark. Ruff, ruff, ruff. All right, you silly dog. Never mind. Let's get back to the kitchen. Nina went back and finished up her baking. The next day, Officer Rose visited again. Come in. Hello, good morning. Hello, Officer Rose. What brings you back here again? Yes, Miss Pearlie. Good morning. How are you today? I am fine, officer. How may I help you? Well, I'm here to inform you that the criminals were caught, and so they are behind bars, so you have nothing to worry about. Oh, that's such good news to hear, officer. That's good news. Yes, Miss Pearlie, that is good news. So what will happen to the dog? Well, since his owners have died, we will be taking him to a shelter. A shelter, Officer Rose? Could I keep him? Are you sure, Miss Pearlie? Yes, Officer Rose, he's really no trouble. I could keep him. All right, then, Miss Pearlie, I guess that would be fine, as long as it's okay with the family. They don't want him. They don't really want him. Okay, good, then I'll keep him. All right, then, Miss Pearlie. We will bring some of his things over to you later on in the day. All right, Officer Rose, you do take care now. All right, then, Miss Pearlie. Have a good day. All right, officer. What did I just do? I'm going to be keeping this silly dog? Oh my gosh, what did I just do? What did I just do? Nina started to have second thoughts. There's no one else to keep him, so I guess I'll have to do it. Ever since the dog came into her life, Nina realized that the pain that she had been feeling for these many years has disappeared. It was as if the miracle that she wanted had happened. In focusing on the dog, Nina had forgotten all about the pain that she felt. Oh, you silly dog. Since you are going to be living here, I guess I will have to fix up this place. And so Nina went right to it. She started to clean the house. She put away the boxes, cleaned the windows. She even went outside to find board to nail up the windows that were broken. The next day, Nina got out of bed really early. It was Christmas Eve. The silly dog was right there with her. In a very long time, Nina felt happy. She actually felt like she could go on. All right, you silly dog, since it's Christmas Eve, I think we should prepare for Christmas tomorrow. What do you think? I guess that's a yes. So Nina and the dog went straight into the kitchen. For the rest of the day, Nina busied herself. She was super excited. In the evening, Nina sat down and rested. She was so pleased with herself. The place had not looked so good in a very long time. This was all thanks to the silly dog. As Nina turned in for the night, the pain returned. She ignored it and went straight to bed. The next morning, Nina opened her eyes and there was a silly dog right beside her. However, she was not feeling too well. She tried to get out of bed, but she was unable to. You silly dog. I don't feel too good this morning. I'm just going to lie down and sleep a bit. Nina stayed in bed until mid-afternoon. When she opened her eyes, she was surprised. The silly dog had brought her bag with her medication. Oh, you silly dog, thank you so much. So she took her medication and rested some more. In the afternoon, she got out of bed. She was feeling much better. Oh, you silly dog, I think I did too much work yesterday. Now, let's go to the kitchen and get something to eat. I'm sure you must be hungry. Nina turned on her radio and started to play some Christmas carols. And she and the dog enjoyed a lovely Christmas dinner. At dinner, Nina thanked God for the silly dog. He had come just in time for Christmas. For the rest of the holiday, Nina's mood changed. She was much more relaxed and she felt more calmer. She was happier than she had ever been for a very long time. She had gotten her Christmas miracle. She was still feeling pain, but the pain was lessened because of the company she had received from the silly dog. She can spend the rest of her days not feeling lonely anymore. The end.